what are you trying to say with the play, and what kind of an impact do you hope that it will have
Sure.
on audiences? And if we just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in the most sort of thematic sense, it's probably about identity, and so the big pillars of that are sort of race and economics and gender, masculinity in particular. So those are kind of the big themes I was kind of wrestling with. Is sort of, what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be an African American? What does it mean to be a middle class person in today's society? And I'm big on sort of writing about sort of the modern American village. And part of identity these days comes with sort of being disenfranchised, because we move around the country so much. I've been really fascinated with the notion of neighborhoods that have been intact for 3 or 4 generations, where people live where their grandparents did or a block away, which is kind of what I grew up in. And now it just feels so transient, and how that affects identity. You know, like in my neighborhood in Chicago, I don't know my neighbors that well. I really don't. And my kids are going to have a very different experience of growing up than I did. I knew the whole block, you know, and they're down the street. You know, I don't do that anymore. Now, I know it exists in certain pockets of the country and certain different locales, but it got me thinking about identity and how that wraps up. And then sort of the more literal thing we're wrestling with is the notion of gentrification, which is a lightning rod for all of these things in terms of identity and economics and race, where a neighborhood, you know, turns from the folks that sort of built it and sort of established it. And when a new economic base comes in, it's usually people of different skin colors or different economic strata come in and really change the landscape of a neighborhood. And with that, you know, we have tangible things in the play, like a property tax bill and about having to move, but it's really about, you know, identity and what am I losing, what part of myself am I losing that my neighborhood's changed, and how do I change, and things like that. So those are the things, and the goal, my real hope is to have diverse audience, to have a diverse cast and diverse audiences, and to really treat all of the characters and all of the situations with a lot of respect, and to stir that conversation, because I think a lot of these conversations happen within subcultures. I think you'll find sort of upperly mobile white people talking about gentrification, and you'll find sort of, you know, middle class African Americans talking about it, and you'll find people that have been disenfranchised talking about it, but they don't always talk about it to each other. And I think, you know, in its most lofty goal, it would be great to have an audience of people that's diverse, a cast that's diverse, sort of having this conversation together night after night in the theater. I think theater can stir that conversation. Good theater can do that. So I mean, its most grand adventure would be to try and add to that conversation, or try to further that conversation in our own little way.
Is one of the things that you're hoping for, maybe on an idealistic plane, that at some point in the future neighborhoods will become what you experienced as a child again?
It would be great. I mean, I think there is sort of this ideal that I have in my mind of where there is some balance. And you know, you see grand experiments. I mean, Chicago's actually trying with some sort of controlled income, multi-income level development. You know, where they actually try to do it. And I do think that there are tipping points. I mean, like the neighborhood that I currently live in was great for a couple of years. Now I'm starting to see it change and get really gentrified. So I think there are moments in time, and there are neighborhoods, and I think it'd be wonderful. I mean, I really do, because I mean, one of the reasons we're committed to living in the city is because we want our kids to know it, everybody doesn't look the same, you know, and that's really important. Now, what I don't want to do is, by doing that, I don't want to displace somebody who's been there for 3 generations. So I really wrestle with that, because I think in my own personal place, I think we come at it from a really good place, but there are ripple effects and repercussions on everything you do. Mm-hmm. But yes, I would love for that to happen. I'm not sure I know how. It's a tough equation to solve.
Did you